Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Fishing for Men podcast. It's part of Fishing for Men Ministries, and we exist to help equip men, build community, and live lives transformed by Christ. We're so grateful that you've taken the time to listen to us today. We have a really fun episode that will not be challenging at all. That's a joke. But I am your host, Billy, and today, or tonight, I have...
Brandon.
Hey, y'all, it's Spencer.
And George.
So... I don't know if you guys have seen or pay attention to, but I saw the Texas lottery numbers, or not the numbers, but like what it's worth the other day. And so my question to y'all was, would you actually want to play the lottery? And if you won, what would you do with the money? Because right now we're sitting at $143 million.
I drive by one of those billboards every day. Right off
Like,
of
do I pull
I-35.
into the gas station and grab
I see
a
it.
ticket?
There's this for going from one interstate to the other on my commute every day to work. It's right by that billboard. So I think about it maybe every day. I don't know what I'd do if I won it.
But would you actually want to win it?
Yes.
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
100%.
But haven't you seen all those horror stories of people that win it?
I'll be different.
Exactly.
I seriously, probably about once a year, I'll randomly, that thought will pop in my head, and I can spend the whole day thinking through what I would do with the money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sure. What would you do?
You got all day to listen.
Give us 2 or 3 things you would do with the money.
Of course, the first thing is I go talk to the pastor at my church and ask him how I can help, right? No, the first thing I would do is, before I quit my job, just take a couple, like
Did you give your boss a raise?
No. I would, besides moving houses and things like that, I would want to go on just like a trip around the world. And just like have
Like
a
just
month
hit
off.
all the continents.
And just go to the places that I want to visit.
Oh, cool.
And then come back and figure out, okay, what do I do next?
What do I do with this new life I have?
Yeah.
First, you're going to have to pay taxes, so set that money aside.
Yeah. Well, even if I only get half of it.
Yeah.
I would be
so
good.
actually, if you go, I did this. So I went on the Texas Lottery website now. It actually tells you what your take home is.
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
that?
And it's really depressing.
Yeah.
And don't they have like a lump sum payout and then like a lifetime payout?
Yeah.
But you take the lump sum.
Yeah, you always take the lump sum.
Take the lump sum, and you form an LLC. You don't go claim it immediately. You got a month. You form an LLC. You claim it under your LLC.
Well, is it better to do that or make it a trust, though?
I think one of the two, but that's what I do.
Yeah.
LLC, go claim it, and then I take my trip under the LLC,
Yes.
doing research, and write it all off.
No. I don't want any strings attached on this
Keep
trip.
it all. I can keep it all.
George, any ideas what you would do with the money if you won that?
You guys are the ones giving me all the ideas.
I said nobody in my immediate family would be in debt. I'd pay it all off.
Yeah, stuff like that.
I'd
And
do that.
I could quit my job and do
Whatever
the
you
stuff
want.
I wanted to do. Well, even like fishing for men full time,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Where I wouldn't have to worry about it. I'd want to do good things with it, not
sure.
just selfishly. Because that's the funny thing is at the end of my day, thinking about how I would spend it, I often end at the point of, wow, that's very self-centered.
I said I'd go. It's funny. I had a buddy of mine ask me this question yesterday, and I said I would go coach high school football.
That would be fun.
I'd do that.
I'd probably go do
that.
like,
Just
like
keep
coach.
myself busy.
For sure.
Something I've always wanted to do, but because of how I view money, I'm like, yeah, that's great to do, but doesn't align
don't
with these
make
other
it in
goals.
it.
Yeah. So. And then you look at what some of the top paid head coaches in Texas make, and I'm like, actually, I was wrong.
Yeah.
And you can do pretty well.
I'm sure that's even gone up now. Like with some of these high school head coaches and athletic directors makes got to be actually fairly handsome. I would do all those things. Plus I would buy at least like 1,000 acres.
Go buy the 4.6s.
Billy's gonna create a cult out in the countryside with this animal.
No, not a cult.
He is offended.
I have a dream of running a direct to consumer like meat business. So
Oh, that's cool.
Very cool.
So that's what that would give us, like, obviously the lane to go do it. But there's a lot tied into that that I've been just learning me and Katie have been talking through and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's what we do. Turn it into business and make it like family land that they can come back to and they can live on if they want to and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So, yeah, we're actually just talking about this today. It doesn't have anything to do with the episode, but we were talking about, she was like, do you think people she was like, I was reading Genesis and she goes, we just don't care about where we live anymore. She was like, back then, like, you had your land, like, and where your family lived, and it was something that meant something to you. She was like, you just don't have that, at least in our culture today. We don't have that. So that's something that is something that we're just tinkering with, especially with the property that we have. So anyways, that was a tangent. So today, though, we're talking about money. If that was not apparent by the wonderful title of this episode, which is Mo Money, Mo Problems. True wisdom from the notorious B.I.G. That you guys did not think you were going to hear about that one on our episode today. But we're starting a new series that we titled Unspoken Battles. We as men usually don't like to talk about where we're weak. We don't want to talk about where we need help, and we certainly don't want to bring them to light so that everybody else knows about them. And so these aren't going to be, I would say super deep ones, but I think these are things that we have sometimes struggle to ask for help in, and especially with money. Like if we're ever in those times, like, man, I'll be the first one to raise my hand. I'm not trying to go to any of you and be like, hey, I need help. Even though it should be realistically the first place that I go, maybe besides my family. So these episodes are not meant to shame anyone, but just to call you up in the man that God designed you to be. And so please don't feel that that's not the message we're trying to convey, but we're trying to just encourage you to bring these things to light if you are struggling with any of these things, because they can grab a stronghold on every single one of us. And so first question is, does Jesus talk about money in the Bible?
No.
Next.
Yeah.
Why do you say next?
Well, because George just answered your question. It's no. So, okay.
This will be
Come up with better questions, Billy.
It's actually one of the most talked about items that he has during his 3-year ministry or so, which is actually, that's fascinating to me. Like, of all the things he could talk about, like, he talks about money a lot.
It's interesting. It's almost like foreshadowing for like our world, right? Because like
he
in
knew.
a world where like not a lot of people were rolling in it then. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. He actually directly addresses it. There are 29 different times, like head on. We're going to talk about money.
Yeah.
Which,
are you saying George was wrong?
yes.
I did my homework. I swear.
Which translation are you using? But I mean, that is challenging, because at the end of the day, money is a necessary factor in the society that we live in. Like, we don't live in a predominantly agrarian society where
are we bartering?
Our wealth is tied to our animals, which is like, hey, I got 2 heifers over here. I need like 4 goats or like 6 pigs. Do I got any takers?
Yeah.
Like, we have this money that we have to steward well, and we need money to pay for things. And so, how do we manage that tension that we have? Because it's something that we're charged with stewarding, because at the end of the day, it's not necessarily ours. And so, maybe this will be maybe a little stinger of a question, but where have you been challenged by Jesus in your walk with him, and how you spend your money? Just a little.
Not at all.
Not at all. Brandon is the absolute perfect steward. Please teach us your ways, my friend.
Come follow me.
Yeah.
So this is something that this year I've made this like big commitment of like, no major expenses, because I think where I've felt some conviction as I've reflected on the last few years is I'll get tunnel vision on a quote unquote need. Last year it was a car. I needed a car. And then I just pour all this time and effort and energy into researching, and you name it. It's never anything cheap. It's always something like high dollar. And I obsess over it. And the conviction that's come to me is like, what if you had that same level of attention and zeal for me? To like
And you
research.
feel this nice punch right in your gut.
Yeah, and I'm like, like that's what. So like this year for me has been this like just theme of self-denial, but that's where for me, because this is one of my biggest, like when it comes to like idolization, like the chase of the dollar for me has long been one of my biggest struggles.
Yeah.
Because I equated that to worth.
For sure.
So yeah, that's probably been one of my biggest convictions.
I don't know if I'm jumping ahead here, but
Go for it.
when I think about Jesus and the Bible and money, denying our wants, versus our needs. I mean, I think we're called to take care of our family, right? To provide.
For sure.
But beyond that, about generosity. Like, because I'm not, I'm frugal in the sense that I don't spend a lot of money on a lot of stuff that I don't need or go do crazy stuff with my money. But where I get most challenged is, but am I generous with what I do have?
Sure. We'll get there.
Okay.
That's one of the
That's
themes
coming
we'll
up?
get through. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I can remember distinctly, because at least from my vantage point growing up, like a big challenge between my parents before they got divorced was money. And I remember probably, I don't know, 14, 15, 16 maybe, I made a pact with myself that money would never be an issue for my family whenever that time came. And it became this chip on my shoulder that I then had to shed because like you talked about, Spencer, like obsessing over it. Like, dude, I was tracking like trends 3 years out and trying to understand how this purchase, which in the grand scheme of things wasn't super huge, like, but it wasn't small. So I'm talking like maybe like $1,000 or something. Like, how is this going to affect me in 3 years? Like, that's where my mindset was.
Yeah.
And I was modeling, I literally was modeling out our expenses 3 years out and then factoring in larger expenses and figuring out what I could actually do. Like, it was taking over my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not to say playing is bad. Like, you certainly need to play in certain situations, but like when it consumes you, there seems to be a bit of a problem that's going on. And God really just pushed on me is like, you gotta let go of that. And it's been super freeing in that regard. Now, the way I tend to operate is I'll go like way to the other side.
Yeah.
Where I just don't pay attention to anything. I'm like, hold on, we gotta pull that back just a little bit.
Yeah.
And so we have, but it was interesting how that one moment, back when I was younger, just really made me focus so much on that. And it was always about all the jobs that I went after. It was always about getting more money, and it wasn't necessarily for me, but it was, I so wanted to make sure that I could take care of my family and that wouldn't become an argument between me and my spouse or whatever that was. And so, that is probably the biggest one that has impacted me, just even in my walk now, is making sure that I don't necessarily obsess of it, but plan in a thoughtful way, without it consuming me. So, the themes we're just going to kind of talk through on this one are stewardship, generosity, like Brandon just talked about, and then worship, which I don't think we always associate money to. And so the first one, or the first passage that we're going to just touch on is Matthew 25:14 through 30. And this is the parable of the talents. So I'm not going to read through like every bit of it. But basically it's, where Jesus tells this parable that he gives different amounts of money to the master gives 3 different amounts of money to 3 different servants, and then he goes away. And so they come back and they're like, hey, I invested the money or whatever it was. You gave me this and I doubled it. And the next guy, you gave me this and I doubled it. And the next one's like, I buried it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he comes back and he's like, you wicked.
Yeah. You could have put it in the bank and at least
Yeah,
got
you
interest.
could have got me something out of this. And it brings up this idea that working to get more money isn't necessarily bad. Like, But I think this idea of stewardship comes up through this is like, hey, God is going to entrust you and each one of us with a certain amount of resources and funds. For this specific episode, we're talking strictly about money. So he's going to give you a certain amount of money. And then it's up to us to steward it well. And so my question for y'all is like, how do you think about that? And when this word stewardship comes to mind, what are you thinking about as that? And how do you think about when you think about stewarding your money?
And this may get into worship, but for me, I always kind of view stewarding money as like, am I being faithful with the first fruits? With what God has blessed me with.
Sure.
Am I stewarding it? And just kind of giving something back. But this may be going down the wrong rabbit trail. But one of the things I always kind of pondering with myself is it enough to just like steward it, like making like having a plan, make sure you're not spending frivolously, make sure but I also look at like, what's the intent of how I'm spending? Is it going more outwardly towards people, or is it more for my own kind of indulgence kind of things? Like, what are my goals? Are my goals in service to him, or are they not? Are they just in service to me? And that's kind of an interesting one.
For me, it's really interesting because growing up, like my parents aren't financially literate. And even now my dad's retired. And he's like sitting on his retirement money. And he's like, help me. And I'm like, first of all, why are you asking me?
I learned from you.
I know. So. First of all, I know nothing. I'm a child. But it's really interesting because my mindset growing up, it was absolutely for sure instilled by my parents was that you shouldn't worry about money. And so spend it freely because money will always come and money will always go. And so fast forward as an adult, I had to learn to be frugal with money. And it was through marriage and relationships that really challenged me to kind of steer away from that mindset and then start thinking towards the future. And then my walk with Jesus came around. And I realized that I was once on one extreme, but you can also go too far on the other one. And for me, it was like the kind of what I've heard you say, Spencer, was like, what's your posture of your heart when it comes to money?
That's a good way to put it.
So,
Brandon?
Not much to add. I'm just trying to separate out the three things that you mentioned because I think they kind of all flow together, for sure. Right? So to not go too much into the other two and just look at stewardship, if I'm going to separate them out, I would say, just being, am I taking care of my family? Am I being wasteful with the resources that I have? Because if I am, then it's going to affect the worship and the generosity piece.
Sure.
So, am I taking care of my family? Am I planning for the future?
Sure. Yeah, as I thought about this, the word that I continue to contrast this stewardship with is ownership.
Yeah.
That it's not yours.
It's not ours. Like even I was reading, so I read a chapter of the Bible to Will every night, and we're still on Leviticus, going through the laws, which is a great way to put your child to sleep. So parent tip. We were on the part and towards the end of the book, and there he's given some of the laws to the priest. And one thing he said there was, I gave you the land of Canaan. That land is not yours, it's mine. And so it tied into this today of like, everything that you have is not yours. It was given to you as a mode for you to then steward. So just like our faith that we have, where we're not supposed to be the terminal vessel for our faith. We're supposed to be the conduit to which our faith goes out to then go share the gospel to others. In the same way, our money is supposed to be the same. In that we're not supposed to be the terminal vessel for it. That doesn't mean you can't use it for enjoyment or pleasure in certain instances, but at the same time, I think if we're not using it in a way that we're the conduit to other people, I don't think we're stewarding our money in the way which God wanted us to use it.
Do you think, and this is just something I've been kind of pondering, do you think that means we should also be responsible for ensuring the money that we do give away is being stewarded? If I'm giving
I would say yes.
donating to the church or I'm donating to a charity, is it also then my responsibility to ensure that those are reputable or that the church is using it?
To a reasonable extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Do
think
you all do that?
I think there's an element of like, am I giving my money in a way in a way that is building the kingdom?
Yeah. And two organizations, people that will do that.
Now, there's only so much you can ever know about one in particular organization. But I do think part of it is a due diligence for sure, to making sure that you're doing your part. Now, obviously, once that leaves your hands and you don't control the employment of those people and their morals and their values, now we would hope that the organization has done their part too. But I do think we don't just frivolously go, well, that looks great, and throw it away.
Check mark. Well, I give them a check, so I'm covered. I'm practicing stewardship and giving.
The other part that I find interesting about this is I think you can also swing to the other side. Is like, oh, sweet, if I just steward my money well and double it and make sure I do well with it, I'm going to get like a lot more.
Yeah.
And so this, it ties into the generosity one. But again, like the more that you continue to be given,
why are you stewarding it and how?
Yeah.
And
the more you are given, the more you should also be then giving away.
Yeah.
Like it's a cycle.
Yeah.
Almost.
One way I've heard it talked about is if you think about water or a river, what happens if you have like a little creek that stops flowing? It gets scummy and stinky and gross.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But what about this other guy? Like, it seems pretty harsh for the guy who didn't steward his money. Like, didn't do anything bad with it.
Well, it's like taking your gift for granted, right? So, like you said, it's a gift to you. So don't just squander it and take it for granted.
Sure. It's almost like he operated out of fear.
Yes.
Like, oh crap! Like, oh, this is great. I'm just gonna hide it over here.
Yeah. Well, he said that. I knew that you were.
I knew you were. I was like, you can sense the fear in him as he's like going to talk, about his master. Like, I knew you were this kind of person, so I wanted to make sure I didn't do anything really bad with it.
Bold strategy to say to your boss too. By the way, not only did I underperform, I did it because because you're a terrible person.
This master, I know you. You're a harsh man. Like, you're about to get in trouble. That's not the words I think I would use with him.
Imagine saying that to your boss when you missed a project goal.
Yeah. But I think like there's just such a drastic contrast, which was, hey, they actually take it and give it to the one who doubled his money. The first, I think it was the one who had 5 talents. Like, not only did he not get to keep it, like you got all of it taken away and moved on. So it's just, I think it's important for us to kind of think through of like, what does stewardship mean for us? How do we do that well? And then that'll tie into this next one, which is generosity, which I know is always sounds really easy, but is not necessarily the easiest to always go and do. And so the passage that we have for today on this one is Mark 12:41 through 44, which I thought I had pulled up, but I don't know that I actually do have it on here. I think I switched it at the last second. You guys want to pull that up real quick?
Yeah.
Because I think it's only 3.
Mark 12:41 to 44.
Yeah, I think I was going to do that one. I know I had pulled another one too that I wanted to talk through as well. But
I got it. If you want.
Go for it.
It's the widow's offering. It says,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he sat down opposite the treasury and watched the people putting money into the offering box. Many rich people put in large sums, and a poor widow came and put in 2 small copper coins, which make a penny. And he called his disciples to him and said to them, "Truly, I say to you, this poor widow has put in more than all those who are contributing to the offering box. For they all contributed out of their abundance, but she, out of poverty, has put in everything she had, all she had to live on."
What does this tell you about generosity?
It's not the dollar amount.
That's good, because I was actually thinking about, I wonder if there's listeners out there who may be in a situation where maybe they might not have a job, or B, they're just drowning in debt, or maybe previous financial decisions, even if it wasn't theirs or
Yeah.
affecting them now. And they're going like, I want to give, but at the end of the month, like I have nothing. Like if anything, I'm the one that needs. And like what could we share with them, or how to go about something like that?
Sure. I mean, in this story, she's the one who you would think like she may be the recipient of all of the giving that's being put in that bucket. Yet she's like, I value this so much that it needs to go to God.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we always have that high a value of money. And if we do get into those hard times, I think usually like giving's the first thing to like exit.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine her giving that required a certain amount of faith that God was going to provide, right? So do we give at a level that would require us to mirror that same level of faith?
Like, do we give radically enough that
You're trusting in God because you don't see the provision in front of you.
Right.
Yeah. Because I honestly, like, I know my mindset is like, if there's a large chunk of money that I know I'm going to give, I'm like, my mind resorts back to, that 3-year spreadsheet, Billy.
Yeah.
How is this going to impact me? Whatever that looks like when I know that.
Faith is easy when it feels comfortable, huh? Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
$100 and 1,000 and 10,000 are very different.
Yeah.
Very.
And they all feel much different once you see that go out of your bank account.
Yes.
So what does that, as you think about that, what does that make you want to do one for your own? Curl up and hide? Like, that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Go back in your shell. Be like,
Yeah.
I'm out.
Well, this topic of generosity seems like it's one of the most, I would say, just polarizing, because it feels like people often view this point when it comes to like, this is pretty cut and clear when you read what Jesus says about it. But a lot of times I think people will overlay or will see this through the lens of hurt from what somebody in a church did. The misuse of funds, or you hear all these horror stories about how a church misused funds, and now it's I've had those objections from people to me before. Yeah. So my view of generosity is not based off what Jesus said. It's based off the brokenness of man. And that's where I think is kind of interesting what comes up for me, because I am one of those people. I'm talking about others but I was one of those. We circulated that documentary that talked about the business of church, and
that's legitimate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're running into, shockingly, a tension in this about what generosity is, because I've met people where, like, for example, let's say it's a married couple and they have a family, and one of either the husband or the wife just has a naturally generous heart to the detriment of their family. Like, they irresponsibly give.
Sure. And
there's other verses in the Bible where it talks about, I can't remember it exactly, but it's something along the lines of, a man who doesn't provide for his family, it doesn't say good things about him. So it's like, you still have to take care of your family.
Yeah.
But then we have this picture of the widow giving everything she has. So I think within that generosity, it has to be like spirit-led and not just blind.
Sure.
Great point. Yeah.
Does our giving always have to go to an organization?
Ooh,
No, I don't think so at all. One of the guys.
But what about the tax benefits?
Okay, but I think about one of the guys from our men's Bible study. Like, he has stuff in his car so that he can stop and give it to homeless people. But he doesn't just give it to homeless people. I think he also does something else really key in it, is that he humanizes them by seeing them and spending time with them.
Yeah.
So that is generosity as far as his time goes.
Yeah.
Combined with actually providing material things. So
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. It's it brings just an interesting perspective. There's a couple things that are going through my mind is, do we give to organizations because of the tax benefits that we know we reap in our tax return?
Yeah.
Or do we actually give because we want to?
Yeah.
we feel like.
Or would we give the same amount if we knew that tax benefit wasn't there?
I can honestly say, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
I just don't make enough money that it makes that big of a difference for me. But
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's been a couple of times I've had the opportunity to do that, and there's never been that much joy in my life. Whenever they didn't ask for it, they weren't expecting it, but I knew they needed it.
Yeah.
And to send them, like, have another, I mean, this is over just like a coffee.
Yeah.
And I knew the person on the other side needed it desperately. And to give them that check and to watch their face, like, just be filled with joy was like, oh man, like,
Yeah.
this is what generosity is supposed to be like. Because I think when you give to an organization, you don't always get to see it.
Exactly.
it just disappears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You may see a Sizzler video,
Yeah.
on what happened of this building that went up, which is, not to say those are bad things. But are we looking out for those opportunities in the individual people in our lives where they need?
I was just
That
going to take
generosity.
us on a tangent, but I'll reel it back in. Don't want to get too controversial.
I would say the other thing that sticks out about that story is that I feel like it kind of crushes that barrier of, okay, I gave my 10%, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Like I checked the box.
Yeah.
Kind of like going to church on Sunday, which, you know what? I can't remember the percentage of Christians that tithe. Not 10%, just tithe, period.
Oh,
it's like 2%, I
it's
think.
minimal.
It's very small.
Yeah. I wonder how much of that is what Spencer talked about, though. Maybe they are giving, but they're not tithing per
Could be.
se,
Could
Yeah.
be.
which I think is interesting. That's a whole other topic about tithing and whether we're actually called to do that. But we'll leave that one for another.
Well, that was my tangent. I was going to go on. Well, it was that, and I don't know where we live. I feel like we tithe into our church so that we can have these super nice churches and fun events that just goes back to entertaining ourselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or do I tithe to the church for the benefit of me?
Yeah.
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 Essentially, yeah.
To make myself, it's almost like, it's like a quid pro quo of your salvation.
Yep.
Like truly, I think that's how some people view it. Is like, oh, I'm doing my part. I'm paying.
Yeah. We'll get to this in a second. Like just practical resources. I read this book called Simple Money, Simple Money, Rich Life by Bob Lodich, Christian guy. Really just easy practical steps that you can go do. And one of the things they do is many of us track, our expenses. We track our, how much we spend on stuff and how much money's coming in, and we track our investments. But not many of us track our giving year over year. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the things I want to start doing is keeping those spreadsheets. And is my giving increasing every year? And that's something they track. And they rope in things like any gift that you give to somebody, like all of those are all generosity.
Yeah, not
things.
just
It's
tithing,
not just like
quote
tithing
unquote,
or
yeah.
money, but it's, a $10 gift card that you get somebody, for a thank you or for the teacher or for whatever, but like track all of that. And their goal is to increase that giving year over year over year and to watch that happen. And he talks about it. He goes, yeah, we were like really scared about it. And we started setting these like astronomical goals of like 20%, 30% of our spending. And we're like, how would we ever get there? But he's like, God just keeps allowing us to be able to do it. Like basically what we just talked about. And so it's cool when we're intentional about doing that of what happens in the generosity.
Yeah.
So lots of stuff to chew on in the generosity.
So much. Yo, I have gotten to the point where when I was setting up my recurring donations, I'm like, do I use my debit card where I don't get any points or cash back, or am I using my credit card because there's points and cash back? And I'm like,
Oh, you're trying to skim off.
this goes back to posture. I'm like, God, what am I doing? Like that's how deep into this thing I get.
What is your guys' opinion on the whole reoccurring giving? You know what I mean? Because it kind of, yes, you're still giving, but it also is mindless and you don't.
Yeah.
It's obviously not hurting you because it just goes out and you. I don't know.
For me, it's a form of self-control because I know thyself. When going back to the story I just shared, for me, for the last few years, that would have been every check. That's going to be a battle of, well, what's the amount this time? And if I have to know, like, okay, this is what makes sense and this is what I think is meaningful, and I'm going to do it. I'm always know I'm going to do it.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been, but that it almost feels like that's another one of those things. It's just like, probably so
It's like
personal.
your
but
car payment now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I have to set it, and that's my way of like, if I'm going to go back and like try and change that decision, it's going to require some effort. And so yeah, that's been my take on it. That's interesting though, how you. Great. So Brandon thinks I'm mindlessly.
Yeah,
I'm glad you feel judged.
I do a little bit. Actually, I do both. So I'm in sales, so I have a salary and I have commission. And so my salary is on an auto give, but then because my commission fluctuates, I don't leave it on that because I don't know what it'll be. And so I actually then like have to be intentional about that. And there's times where I've caught myself, I'm like, oh shoot, like I'm 3 weeks past when I got my commission check. I'm like, I didn't do that, and I need to make sure. Like I thought about it beforehand, then 3 weeks went by, and I'm like, oh, forgot to do it. Yeah, and so trying to make sure that I'm intentional. I do have on the auto ones, I get notifications to remind myself, like, hey, we did go do it. And so it's not like I never see it. But yeah, it is an interesting topic to think about on the reoccurring piece.
Yeah.
All right,
the church will tell you. Set it on record.
Yeah, we like to know when the money's coming and we can count on it.
We don't trust you.
Yeah. All right. So what about money as worship? I think obviously ties into the other ones. The passage here is Matthew 6:19 through 24. I think many of us have heard this one before, and I'm going to read this one, which is, don't store up your treasures on earth where moths and rust can destroy, and where thieves break in and steal, but store up for yourself treasures in heaven where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves don't break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. The eye is a lamp of the body. If your eye is healthy, your whole body it will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. So if the light within you is darkness, how deep is that darkness? No one can serve two masters. Since either he will hate one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Interesting structure of that passage, because that middle piece just doesn't feel like it fits in verse 22 through 23.
What's that part?
The eyes.
Doesn't it have a different meaning?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we'll start there. So in a Jewish context, the eye was sort of that like view into the soul and like how you viewed the world. And so a good eye represented somebody who had a generous attitude. And a bad eye was somebody who was stingy and had a miserable attitude, more or less. And then a bad eye results in a deep internal darkness, a moral blindness that diminishes the ability to see and pursue what is good. And so the eyes were super key in their context. So with that in mind, we'll reread that. So the eye is the lamp into the body. If your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light.
And isn't that word just literally good and bad? If you have a good eye and a bad eye?
Yep. Yeah. Yep. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. So the way in which you view the world and how generous you are actually has an impact internally on how you operate. I don't know that we always think about that part. Which is funny because it sits in this structure of like, hey, be careful of how you view these. He's talking about generosity, and he gets to this point of like, hey, you can't serve both. Mm-hmm. So he's making the assumption that people do serve money. And in that context, service is often a form of worship. Therefore, you are worshiping. I think in one of the Gospels, they actually call it something else, right?
It starts with an M. I'm trying to remember what it was now. Yeah. And the whole story behind it.
Yeah. It's actually like a God name.
God.
Yeah.
Well, and I just think, to kind of zoom out, it's like we talk about idols in different things. Anything that you prioritize over God becomes an idol, and it ties back into that name. Is it manna or something like that?
Yeah. Which is funny because that's actually what the like bread in the Old Testament. Dude, there's a tie in there with all that stuff.
Yeah. It's a little bit, Didn't do our research ahead of time. But maybe we can put a link to something that does in the show notes.
Yeah.
I'll add that in for us to have that added. But yeah, I just think it goes back to what are you worshiping in the end? Because it's either God or something else.
Mm-hmm. And usually that money is used, like if you're worshiping money, it's used to go build a kingdom. It's used to provide security, comfort, in what we think is something that won't ever go away. Because if we have enough money here, we're good.
Yeah.
When the reality is, one, you can't take it. As he talks about here, like it will get destroyed.
And for men, is that not so countercultural? Like leave a legacy, build a legacy, like generational wealth. Like, it's just like this fire, you know, it's like all this stuff that is just like, it's not bad, but it's kind of counter. It goes back to, for me, like George, like the posture, like why are you doing it? Like what's the purpose of,
Sure.
Because it's for me, like the worship is manifested in mental energy. And that's when I find out, that's where I get convicted, is like, I spend a lot of mental energy thinking about how I'm going to use these for my own gain, not the kingdom.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like for me. So interesting.
Oh, it was mammon, by the way, not manna.
Mammon.
Mammon.
Okay. So maybe they're not connected.
I don't think they are.
I don't know about y'all, but like all three of these, I kept getting, as just working through all of these, I just kept getting directed back to the church in Acts. Of how they steward their money, how generous they were, and how they used it to worship. And it says they sold their possessions and their property and just distributed the proceeds to all as any had a need.
Right.
So no needy person among them had a need. Like what a world that would look like. Now, to be clear, we're not advocating for socialism. Like that's not what this is about. But it is about disconnecting that ownership piece. It was almost like it was a communal stewardship of this money that they had, which sure. But they were looking out for everybody that had a need so that nobody had a need ever.
Yeah, I do think it goes back to like the Garden of Eden ideal in that that you brought up socialism, right? So that's relying on man to provide for man. And I think that the idea behind this and going back to Eden is that we're putting our trust in God to provide.
Sure.
And that, he has all the resources. And if we trust in him, that he will provide. So a mindset of plentiness instead of a mindset of scarcity.
Sure.
Yeah.
And oftentimes that scarcity is, am I secure, not are they secure?
Oh, absolutely. It's turned inwards.
Yeah.
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 Really good call out. Yeah.
Yeah, that one hurts a little bit.
Well, going back to my example at the beginning about fantasizing about what I would do if I won the lottery and how self-centered it was, right?
Yeah.
But it's cool because like even in that, like, so they make sure nobody has any need. Then they eat together. They're joyful, they're sincere, and they're praising God. And throughout this, from then on, it says the Lord just keeps continuing to add into their number over and over.
Ego-free environment.
Wow.
What a
I just
world.
think this is like the exact opposite of the society we live in a lot of ways.
Uh-huh.
Like individualistic, me, what can I gain to make myself bigger?
Like, oh, see that kind of sucks for that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the resources, but nah, I think I need it for me.
Right.
Because what if? I think that's the question that hits a lot. What if?
Yeah.
What if I get sick? What if this
Well,
happens?
I think our whole society is built like wanting to create that illusion that
Sure.
we can take care of ourselves. Like if you acquire enough wealth and power, you'll be okay.
You're fine. Yeah.
Such a good point. It equals security. And
Yeah.
I can't stop but to think of Paul, because correct me if I'm wrong, but he didn't have a salary. So his job was really...
tents.
Yeah.
Say that again?
He had a job though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because he calls them out. He's like, guys, I don't rely on you
Right.
for dollars.
Right. As he's ministering in his ministry in the church, he's not that wasn't paying him any money. But as you just said, the church was the one taking care of him and housing him and per se. So I don't know. It's cool. 'Cause, like, did he hate his job? Obviously not. Because
He gave his life for it, and then
right.
Yeah. And then, I mean, there's multiple of people that didn't get paid for their ministry. They funded it. I mean, Jesus was also a carpenter. So I don't know. Yeah, there's lots of stuff to chew on. Any, as we wrap up, just kind of want to talk through, or have you guys just suggest any money practices or resources that have been helpful in your own life?
Well, you suggested a book.
Yep. Yeah.
I think kind of akin to that. One thing that was really helpful for me was Dave Ramsey. Just, he has his 7 baby steps, just very easy to follow and practical. Easy to follow, not necessarily easy to actually like live out, but
Yeah.
I think it's a really good resource, and it's biblically based. He ties it back into the Bible and Scripture. So
I love, if sticking on the book theme, Psychology of Money is a really great one. It kind of helped me rethink about how I view it and the end goal of it all. That's a good one. And then one that's been really impactful for me, and again, this is not financial advice, but there's I Will Teach You to Be Rich, which the title does not sound like it aligns with this episode, but as far as like healthy money habits to help maybe remove some of that anxiety that could be distracting, that one was big for me because it's truly meant to be a step-by-step guide, kind of like Dave Ramsey.
Cool. Yeah.
I'd say it's like the next step after a Dave Ramsey.
Sure.
Very cool. I'm going to have to take
We're just like, I'm taking notes on all
I've
these.
not read any of those books. I've not read any financial self-help book. But what's been helpful to me is asking guys like you, like, hey, how do you guys go about financing and tracking? Something that was helpful for me going from that, not paying attention to money and let it just go out the window, was using apps like Mint or Rocket Money to allow it to categorize and get a visual of like, okay, where is my money going?
Sure.
First of all.
Yeah.
But this kind of goes back to our previous series about how to read the Bible. Like, I have to be honest and say I've never done a deep dive into like what does I never knew that how many times Jesus talked about money in the Bible. So that's got to be a great
Proverbs
has so
lots,
much.
Yeah, the whole Bible has all kinds of, we didn't touch on this, but even like 2 Corinthians, the end part of it is God loves a cheerful giver.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much money that's tied into the way in which we are supposed to be the ones who then go out and meet the needs of others.
And it's interesting. So if you think about these 3 categories of stewardship, generosity, and worship, I can't help but like pick up on there's themes of like our family of origin impacted those.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
Right. So like I'd be, it seems like one good exercise would be like, think about what does your upbringing, your family of origin say about these 3 things that you learned. And that's kind of been,
Absolutely.
And how do those juxtapose to what Jesus said? Because that has been pretty convicting exercise for me.
And then trying to combine that when you get married with your
spouse. Then try to
Exactly.
merge them together and make that work.
Normally we just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Right? Just kind of
Easier that way.
Or we make a budget and just say, we're doing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That always goes over well.
sounds a little controlling over the building.
Well, the way I wanted to end this, besides sort of the wrap up at the end, is in our church service, we actually end every service with a generosity prayer. And so I just wanted to pray that over everybody that listens. And we'll just kind of talk through and then we'll wrap up here in a second. Holy Father, there is nothing we have that you have not given us. All we have and all we are belong to you, bought with the blood of Jesus. To spend selfishly and to give without sacrifice is the way of the world, but generosity is the way of those who call Christ their Lord. So help us to increase in generosity until it can be said that there is no needy person among us. Help us to be trustworthy with such a little thing as money, that you may trust us with true riches. Above all, help us to be generous because you, Father, are generous. May we show what you are like to all the world.
Amen.
Yeah. There's a lot in that. So maybe go back, maybe listen to it a couple of times, see where God sort of speaks to you. But just want to say thanks for taking the time to listen today. We hope this was encouraging, maybe challenging in some ways. Money's a big part of our life. It's something that we kind of have to deal with. It's a responsibility. It's our responsibility to steward what God's given us. And more than anything, he's more generous than any of us are. And it's an opportunity for us to display his character to everybody else that we come in contact with. And so maybe it looks like spending some time in prayer, asking him how he wants you to use the money that he's gifted to you. Maybe there's some places that he's convicting you maybe there's just some help that you need in how to manage it. And so if there's guys in your life, if there's people that you can call on, this is our sort of encouragement to go do that. Find people that you trust to talk about these things, because you don't want to get to that point where there is no return. Do it now before you get to that spot where it really, really hurts. So as we end, we're always super grateful that you'll take the time to listen. We'd appreciate it if you jump over to Apple Podcast or Spotify or wherever you might be listening to us from. Leave us a review, hit the like button, hit subscribe. It helps us reach more listeners. You can also find us at fishingformenministries.org or on Instagram and LinkedIn. You can find us at Fishing for Men Ministries. Catch you all on the next one. Thanks, y'all.